Hello and welcome back to Tidal League FC, your go-to podcast for all things MLS soccer. So today we have Kyrie Shelton from Sporting KC. As promised, we have Cameron Harper from the New York Red Bulls, Danny Pereira, Mackenzie Gaines, the John Lewis, Cam Duke, Jacob Schaffelberg, Paxton Aronson. Today's recap is going to be a little bit different because the playoffs are coming right around the corner.
But you're not going to see him playing full 93 games in a row.
She is Katie Goodman, our soccer analyst. Make sure you're following her on Twitter. I am Katie Goodman.
It's not just one or two players you got to watch. It's like half the team. It's almost the whole starting 11 that can put it in the net. So
a lot of them are also being abandoned, and the likelihood of you walking up on a bunch of baby kittens is pretty likely.
Once I found yoga, I was able to figure out more about my body, my mind, the connection, and how to heal myself. So I actually practice with these ladies, and I share that gift that I learned with them so that they can prevent injury as well.
It's really exciting to be able to come out and be so close to the field and enjoy this game. You know, we really are enjoying ourselves this evening.
The kids have, role models to look up to and have a fun environment to bring them out to, and the kids can actually run and be kids, and parents don't have to worry about it.
Which is frustrating, but it's just one of those seasons.
I think you guys might be cursed. Like, you might need to bring a priest in or a shaman, somebody to bless the place.
I'm already over here imagining your closet, like with your shoes. So I'm going to need you to post a closet picture of your shoes for us at some point, just so we can see I love it.
I wonder if I can give a sneak peek real quick.
There we go. Let's do this.
Let's see. This is not even all of them, but I literally have boxes stacked right now. Hold on, let me flip this around. Can you see? Boxes
wow.
Stacked.
Oh my God, this looks like a shoe store.
But, if we're going to get over the hump and get to a quarterfinal, semifinal, our guys have to play with the big boys. They have to. You can't go from MLS playing the World Cup. It just don't weigh out. It's not going to work.
I totally agree, but I have to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Because every time we get a really good player, they're pulled off to these European leagues. So then we get this rap of not being a great league, but yet we're pumping out all of these great players in the academy. So it's not that what we're bringing up here is bad. It's just that the talent is being pulled away, which, again, I don't think is bad. We do need that European influence. We need more chances to play against these teams and bring our level up. I would love to see one day where our U.S. men's national team squad has 20 or 25 European players versus 14.
The goal that they scored on the cross, it just made the quality of the game look a lot nicer. They were really quality goals. And not only that, there's a bunch of diagonals going on even after the fact. It was just really good attacking for Inferno, and it was a set piece, and those are hard to place, no doubt, because everybody's watching, everybody's ready, they're waiting, so it is hard to place it, plus that bend, that was really good, but I'm gonna have to vote for Eden. I'm loving the turn and the volley, the opposite 90, that's quality stuff.
It's so hard to say because, the World Cup is 4 years apart.
True.
And so there's so much time that happens in between, and you just the national team gets these little games here and there. They don't have all of this time to train together like an MLS or European League team. So it is really hard for these national team coaches to really take something and really make it cohesive and move it forward. Canada, it was rough.
That was ugly. What the heck? What happened?
Well, they came out with some really strong energy, and I think that early goal just really put them on their heels. They became really frantic after that. They started playing really narrow and versus getting really wide. So, getting wide, spreading the field, taking up the space in the way that they needed to. So they weren't really lifting their heads up, and you could tell in moments where they weren't playing simple, they were trying to adhere to a tactic. So, for example,
I'll expand on this. Yes, I think we've come to the problem right here.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is how we know that this is a coaching error versus a talent error. And what happened? So there's a couple of instances, a couple of players during the game where their natural, usual style of play would be to move into the correct space, maybe do some 1-2s, kind of carry over that European influence. But you can see where for example, people like Brendan Aronson, who was playing center striker, he comes back, drops the ball when he had all the space in the world to turn and go into the attack. And so what that created was a bunch of just doing completely the wrong thing half the time. So a lot of times they would drop the ball when they should have gone into the attack, or they would force the ball when they should have created more space. And that's because they were trying so hard to adhere to this tactic. When here's the thing, they were playing simple, they were playing smart, they were executing on their chances in the final third. We had a lot of chances in the beginning of the game. It's not that it was a terrible game. It's just that the simple things weren't done well. Yesterday's performance, it doesn't seem like it. What's very, very tough for these international coaches is they only get a couple of practices before each game, right? It's something we touched on last time. But when it comes to adhering to a really strong tactic, you really can't do that with international play. You can't do that with your national team. That's something that's for club teams where they can practice every day. They can work on their formation. They get to know the guys they're playing with. This is a different ball game. This is, how do we play to maybe a couple of individual strengths? How do we build confidence that you can play and use that, improvisational nature that is soccer to do better versus trying to adhere to such a strict code of play.
Just going back to that Miami game, like, you guys were so close. And it seems to be like that with a lot of the games. It's either like ties or a near loss, and then with the Miami game, you had that one breakaway that was really close, but then you had another breakaway, and I swear that ball went in.
Yeah, I know.
And I know that
was. I don't want to get in trouble. But
okay.
I think it went in too, but that's all I'll say.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I know that was like all the rage for a minute there. Like, I don't know how that ref still has his job personally.
Yeah,
I'll talk the mess for you on this one.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, okay. So I'll divert from that. But then not only that, there was like that red card in the 37th minute. So you guys were like playing down a player for more than half the game, but you were still able to get people in the attack, which is the craziest thing to me.
Yeah, that game like our season summed up really. Like we went down, we had a PK, we had a red card against them in like the first 10 minutes. And then that was taken away, and then we get a red, and then we get a goal, and then it's not given, and then they go and get a PK and win 1-0. It's like, that's like our whole season kind of like in one game. Which is frustrating, but it's just one of those seasons.
I think you guys might be cursed. Like, you might need to bring a priest in or a shaman,
sometimes I
somebody to bless the place.
It'll just do a lot for us just to get that one win in the confidence.
Yeah. I mean, you guys were a totally different team out there. It's almost like a switch flipped, and you're like, okay, it's go hard or go home, and it kind of cracks me up. I was listening to an interview, and someone had asked, well, how did you muster up the courage to fight back when you're down a player? And it's like, well, what do? Just roll over?
Yeah,
take it? Like, no, you kind of have to go into overdrive. You have no choice, know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I would love to see you guys harness that energy, because you have some pretty big games coming up.
That's on my list. That's on my bucket list, to get down and watch a Nashville game in Nashville. I really want to see that.
Yeah. I'm hoping for the same for Austin FC next year, because I'm based out of San Antonio, and so the closest MLS I have is my Austin people, and I love Austin FC, and they've really started coming through towards the end of the season. They're starting to execute goals a little better. They were actually leading the league in possession for a long time. It's just that they couldn't actually get the ball in the back of the net. So now they're starting to do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see them raise up in the rankings next year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they make playoffs. That would be amazing. It's interesting to me, because Nashville actually came from a USL team, and then they moved into the MLS, whereas Austin kind of just was born out of thin air. And so I'm wondering if that didn't, make a difference on, team chemistry, keeping some core players, adding a couple in from Nashville FC. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's seemed to be a training year for them, but I think it'll be good moving forward. So
you guys should start taking bets. And bet something totally crazy just to mix things up a bit.
The problem is if we start taking bets, guys on our team, like, okay, it's like, I'll give you a story.
Okay.
On Tuesday, I drew the penalty, and Cole was like trying to come and take the ball from me. I'm like, Cole, I drew the penalty. I'm taking the penalty. He's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And like, I'm ready to take the kick. And he's like, Johnny, like, I can take it if you want me to take it. I'm like, me and Cole, like, really.
Speaking of the highest level, do you think that at any point you're going to make it onto that U.S. men's national team, maybe playing side by side with your brother?
Oh, that's the goal. So hopefully.
Right. Wouldn't that be something? And not only that, but he's currently playing in Bundesliga, right, with Red Bull Salzburg. So
yeah,
that's
correct.
like a whole nother touch point for you. Do you think, that you might follow in those footsteps, or do you see that as being a path for you maybe one day?
I think it all depends just me individually, how I keep progressing with the union and how things unfold. Right. But seeing the way that he's been handled, and he loves it over there, it's going great. But it's my own pathway, and just I think I got to focus on myself, and however things pan out, they pan out.
Absolutely. And, there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet, articles where people are comparing the both of you quite a bit. And, they're saying, well, actually Paxton is projected to be better and this and that, and you never know. And so how do you handle that kind of information and just that kind of talk going around in the media?
Yeah, I don't let that get to me. Like, me and my brother, like, we're really good friends. We're really close. And we're obviously never going to let that get in between us. But yeah. I know who I am as an individual and as a player, and he obviously knows his capabilities. So we kind of just joke, laugh about it sometimes. It's all good banner.
Just bringing it back a bit, that goal was actually goal of the week for the MLS, and it was against New England Revolution, which is the top team in the league. So walk me through about how you felt after that game. It was also the first game you started, so I can imagine you must have been on cloud nine, no?
Yeah, no, I was extremely excited. Even like after I scored, the guys around me, I was just screaming because I was so happy.
If you can make it through years and years of growth spurts and injuries that come from your growth spurts, I feel like that's such a big piece of the longevity in players is understanding your own body, knowing how to maintain it, knowing when to push, knowing when to chill. And I feel like that's something I see in a lot of younger players. They're so used to just feeling like they're invincible and that they can just run through a brick wall if they want. And then but we've all done it as a thing. We've all literally done it. And it's not until we get hurt and then figure out how to rehabilitate ourselves that we realize, oh, actually, I can get through this and I can play a little bit longer. Yes, thanks for coming on. I really do appreciate that. Love getting to know a little bit more about you, especially since you're in the middle of a huge transition right now. Are you in North Carolina at the moment?
Yeah, I'm here in North Carolina. I actually got here on Monday, so I'm just settling in. I'm in a hotel right now, but I found a place to live, so yeah.
Wow. I'm assuming that must have been a really quick turnaround. What was that entire transition process like? How did it even happen where they acquired you from Austin FC over to Charlotte FC?
Right. It's been really quick and sudden. So I actually found out about the expansion drafts just a little bit more than 24 hours before it happened. So, and I would just say that during the difficult times, I think it's easy to forget why you started playing, but just to try your best just to remember why you started playing and the love that you have for the game.
I love that. I love that so much. That's something that I also defect to because I play soccer as well. And when things are tough, soccer is the escape. Soccer is the place where you have fun and you can kind of be in that moment, that flow state. And so that's just such solid advice for kids, looking to do the thing. And nothing happens overnight. Trees don't grow overnight. You have to plant the seed. You have to cultivate it, water it, right?